If I lost everything I built tomorrow and I had to start an OnlyFans management agency from zero, I'd have a model signed within a few days and I'd be back to multiple six figures in like a fraction of the time it actually took me to get there in the first place. I blew a shit ton of money on drop shipping and trading before any of this stuff worked. Spent over a year building a complete custom strategy for every single creator that comes on board to the agency without realizing that was the exact thing that was stopping me from scaling to over $100,000 a month. I became a millionaire by 21 years old from this business model. The agency I run does multiple six figures per month. So in this video, I'll walk you through exactly what I would do if I was starting from scratch today, the exact 3 moves I'd make, and the exact order I would make them in. Here's where I'd start. The first thing I do before I try and build any systems or try and build a team is you need to get your first creator, right? I would get my first creator in the books, signed onto the agency and ready to actually build a system around. And I would do it without spending a single penny on ads. There's a very important, most beginners fail at this specific thing, getting their first creator, why it takes them weeks. And it's because they think it's a numbers game. They think, okay, cool. If I send 2,000 DMs, at least one of these creators is going to sign to my agency. But they don't realize that this game is all about trust, right? Because you could send 2,000 DMs, but if your page looks like absolute shit and your message is terrible and it provides no value whatsoever, and you're basically emulating every single agency out there, then the models aren't going to see you as any different to any other agency, and you're not going to get a model signed with those 2,000 DMs. You have to understand that if a creator does not build some sort of level of trust with you or your agency page or your personal page in the first 5 seconds of seeing it, they're just going to ignore you like they're going to ignore the rest of the agencies in the DMs, right? There's a few very fundamental things that you need to have on your agency page in order to actually build that trust straight away. And it's not just screenshots of results, right? Because creators know that you can steal those from absolutely anywhere. Number one is you don't want to have any unrealistic claims on the agency page. We will get you to $250,000 per month in your first 60 days of working with us. They can smell the bullshit from a mile away. You're not going to get anywhere by doing that, right? The second thing is you want to make sure you're giving as much value away as possible. If you can fill your feed with tips and tricks, which genuinely help, I'm not talking about bullshit tips and tricks like post 3 reels a day or put a story on with the link. I'm not on about this. I'm on about genuine things that can help, and I'll give you one. For example, if a creator's got a link tree in the bio, right? She's got a link tree or in the highlights. You click on the link tree and there's 50 other links there and you have to scroll to find the OF. This is a very simple trick that you can teach a creator, which is going to double, if not triple, her sub rate in the very first day. And the second that creator's sub rate has been doubled or tripled by you, that is the moment that she's going to trust what you actually have going on, right? So if you can get one of these tips to genuinely help a creator, you're going to be in a much better position to actually sign that creator on. She's like, right, these guys know what they're talking about. I can actually trust them to make sales on my page, right? If they've given me this much value for free, what's going to happen if I pay them? And this even goes for creators who have replied to your DMs. If creators have replied to your DMs, then do not be afraid to give away value. Now, you're probably thinking, Luca, how can I give away value when I don't know anything? Well, I didn't know anything either, right? And I was giving away value on DMs because of my knowledge in the actual business model. So if a creator replies to your DMs and you have a good opportunity to actually show that you know what you're talking about, don't be afraid to give away value. Don't retain the value and they only get it when they actually sign to the agency. The more value you give away, the better that outcome is going to be for you. That's what reciprocity is, right? Don't expect to get anything back. Just give value out in every single area of your life and it will come back to you sooner or later. Cool, so a realistic timeline. If you're sending 50 DMs per day on your account, targeted creators, not Sophie Rain and Camila Arajo, who obviously have agencies, creators without agencies, in 7 days, you'll have a decent amount of replies. And if you have a decent script to go off on the sales call, you should be able to get your first model in 2 weeks. Right? That's if you do everything right. Now, it's going to come with a little bit of trial and error. That's the same with everything. If you're going to give up over the first hurdle, then just give up now and just quit this video because it's not for you. But in 2 weeks, if you do everything perfectly and don't give up and don't be lazy, you should have your first model signed. I'll give you an example, right? When I first started this agency, I think I was sending about 25 DMs per day on one of my accounts, my personal account. And we signed this creator on. She didn't have an agency, but she was making about $2,000 to $3,000 per month. And I was like, cool. okay, you're making a decent amount of money. I managed to get her up to 19.5K in the very first month, and we were on 50-50. Right, my first month of doing this, bear in mind, I came from a sales job. I was making 3 to 4 racks a month. It was okay money. And in my very first month, I'd made about 7,500 British pounds. And that first month, I was doing everything myself. I was doing all the chatting. I was doing all the marketing. I was doing all the model management. Everything that goes into managing a creator well, I was doing it on my own. And it's not because I had some magical way which actually worked. It's because I actually tried fucking hard, right? I was up 18-hour days chatting. Now, you don't have to do that now, because there's easy ways to find chatters, but 3 years ago when I first started, it wasn't as easy. So I'll give you an example, right? I signed a model recently because I went in her DMs and I saw, number one, there was reels on her feed, which makes it look very messy, which will decrease conversions, right? Number two, her link in the bio was filled up with loads of other links. It had her Facebook, her Twitter, her Instagram, even though we're on Instagram, right? When I know that it should just be the OF link. So I went into those DMs and I said to the creator, look, I noticed on your profile, you have reels on the reels grid. Not only will this decrease conversions, but the reason it decreases conversions is because people might see it as a spam account, so they might not think that you're real. So I would recommend taking them off the reels grid. And I also saw your link that you have in the bio, and it's filled with so many other links. And you're basically diverting the attention of the guys who come to click on the link, who do actually want to see you, right? I would recommend what we do for our creators is in that link tree, only have the OF link. Don't have loads of other links where you're going to divert the attention. And we said, cool. We carried on the conversation a bit. And the next couple of days, that creator came back to us and said, my subs have increased a lot. Thank you so much, right? And that then gave us the opportunity to carry on the conversation, sign the creator, and now she's doing $20,000 per month. Now you have DMs like that are going out to creators, and then you have DMs saying, are you under management? How much are you making? We will get you to $100,000 a month. It's just retarded. Like, you don't want to do your DMs like that. You could probably see why creators would favor the DMs that I just told you I signed a creator with. Now, once you've got that first creator signed, there's a few things which really determined whether you stay at a few grand a month or you actually scale to $50,000 a month or $100,000 per month. And it's the exact thing that kept me stuck at around $20,000 revenue for quite a while, right? So I know the fix. So I'm going to show you what to do instead. But first of all, if you do already run an agency doing a few $1,000s a month, working way too much in a day, maybe 12 to 14-hour days, pretty much a glorified freelancer, that is exactly who I help. There's a link at the top of the description. Fill out the short application and we'll see if you are a fit. You'll get on a call with my team to map out scaling your agency to 6 figures a month. It's the first link in the description. So here's the mistake that kept me capped at 20 to 50K a month for over a year. I was building a complete custom strategy for every single creator that comes on board. So essentially what I mean by a custom strategy is when a creator comes on board to our agency, we'll say, okay, what platforms do you want to do? What platforms do you already do? What can we build on? What do you enjoy making? We try and fit everything around the creator, what she wants to do. And it basically makes it impossible to get anything perfect. Now, I'll be completely honest, it does feel like the correct thing to do. People think it's right. It feels good for the creator, right? It feels premium. You're creating that custom strategy for them and then it's going to grow them. But in reality, it kills your skill. Now, with 1 or 2 creators, if you want to stay at a very small number of creators, maximum 2, you can do custom. You have the time to do custom. Your team can understand everything that's going on. But the second that you actually want to scale, potentially you get to 10 creators, you have 10 different businesses to run. You have 10 different marketing strategies, 10 different chatting strategies. No one knows what's going on. Your marketing team don't know what's going on. Your chatters don't know what's going on. And it just becomes a logistical mess. And in turn, it's just going to leave you as the CEO to be keeping your nose in every single area of the business 24/7, right? You can't leave it alone. You can't fly to Bali. You can't fly to Dubai. You can't drive the Lambos, which you want to do because you're in this 24/7 and you can't let your team be alone. And that's why when I finally put this in place, we flip the business around, because usually it's like, okay, cool. We built everything custom for every single creator. We're going to try and mold our business to fit them. So we flipped it. We made one chatting strategy, which across our 10 models performed the best. And we tried to make it broad and we tried to make it extremely concise and perfect. We took the platforms that we actually know best and we dialed build in those platforms, those traffic sources, right? That's what I mean by platforms. For example, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. That's what I mean by that we know the best, so we can make them perfect. And we created a system behind every single thing we do. We cut down 90% of what we were doing for all of these creators, and we focused on the 10%, which genuinely worked, and we could just get perfect. So now we had one system, one onboarding system, one chatting system, one traffic system, one hiring system, one system for every single area of the business. So now it wasn't 100 things that we had to get 10% right. It was 5 or 6 systems, which was very easy to get perfect. If you can be 1% better than everyone else on Instagram, you're going to dominate the competition. So what do you think is actually better for the creator? Okay, you're not doing custom, but you're actually giving them a system that works. And if you ask a creator, right, what would you rather? Would you rather we experiment all of these different marketing strategies, or would you rather come into our system, which is tried and tested, and we've been running it for so long and it gets results every single fucking time? Which one would you rather come into? Which one would you rather give up 50, 60, 70% of your agents, of your page, it's going to be the system that works, right? They don't have time to be taking risks. And yeah, okay, you don't have that quality of custom, but you have the quality of a system which is perfect and gets results every time. Now, I know what sounds more quality to me. I know what I would rather pay for, but building the system is only half of this. The way that you scale on top of it takes it from decently nice income to an actual real business generating a shit ton of money, which can actually run without you. It's the part that almost nobody talks about. Let me show you how to do it. Once I had a system down, I would scale it in a way which most agency owners get completely wrong. And it's the reason that I run more creators now with fewer staff than I did before. So there's 2 types of scaling. You've either got vertical scaling and you've got horizontal scaling. If you don't know what these are, vertical scaling is where you have less clients, but you scale them further up, right? So getting your 2 clients to $200,000 a month each, cool, you got 400K. And then you've got your horizontal scaling, which is where you get 50 clients at 10K a month each, right? 500K. Now, the reason that I would choose to go horizontal every single time, which is what we run at the moment, we have over 50 creators, is because of the risk. If I have 2 creators, let's just say, for example, they're doing 250K a month each, 500K. Fantastic. You have 2 creators, you're super focused. One of them gets pregnant, they quit. That's half of your income completely gone. Now you got 250K. And how long is it gonna take for you to scale another creator, same as you did with her, who you've been working on for maybe a year, 2 years, to 250K? And then you've got horizontal, where we, for example, we have 50 models at $10,000 a month. If we lose one creator at 10K a month, right? We have 490K a month left. Who gives a fuck? No one cares. Like, it's not that deep, and you can get another one as well. And the magic behind the horizontal model is you have 2 creators, right? You want to stay vertical, but maybe you want some more models. You ask these 2 models, do you have any friends? Most likely no. But if you ask 50 creators, do you have any friends who do OF, and you offer a good incentive scheme for them, you are going to be flooded with incoming DMs. It's going to be crazy, and it can take you that much further, that much quicker, if that makes sense. That's what I would do anyway. And you're probably thinking, Luca, how is 50 creators at 500K a month, 10K a month each, not a logistical nightmare? Now, I'll tell you why. We have 1 staff member for onboarding. We have 1 for model management, 1 for chat management, 1 for hiring. We have VAs under these managers, but the managers are only managing the VAs under them, if that makes sense. So you can have a 4 to 5 person management team and scale to 500K per month. And the reason I would be so gassed if I was getting into this today is because the market is bigger than ever. Now, people think, okay, there's so many AI creators, the market's getting smaller, it's too oversaturated, blah, blah, blah. And the guys are starting to catch on, right? You have to go back to the base of it. Who's paying for the content? Okay, it's the simps, right? Simps are paying for it. What do simps want? Simps want personality. They want a real girl. Now, they're starting to catch on that AI models aren't real. They're starting to catch on that fan view is not ID verified, okay? They're starting to catch on, and they're starting to pay a lot less. And this is why it opens the market up for real creators with a real personality. All of this cash, which is currently in AI OFM, okay, they're making some money now. I don't hate on the AI OFM guys. I just don't think it's gonna last. All of that cash that's in there is gonna slowly flow back to the real creators. And that's why I would build a real creator agency as well, just because of how easy it is and how much in demand the real personality, the real relationship actually is for these simps now. So if you're running your agency and the first hires that you would actually want to make. I'm going to go through them with you now so you can actually buy back your time. So the number one first hire is chatters. Of course, right? If you hire one chatter for 8 hours, that's 8 hours that you have to sleep now. Okay, so this is like your first hire that you want to make within your first week of having a model. You want to have 3 chatters at 24 hours working 7 days a week. Okay, they can request days off if they want it a week or 2 in the future. You take that chatting shift, 3 chatters, 8 hours each, 24 hours. After that, you then want to hire a posting VA. I'm assuming you've still got one model at this point. So I would then hire a posting VA to do all of my posts off all of my social medias, TikTok posts, Instagram posts, Reddit posts, X, everything, right? One person would be doing the whole thing. So then that buys back my time. At this stage, I would not outsource acquisition. I would keep that acquisition to myself. Even to this day, I still do my own sales calls. I still do my own DM setting for the creators on my agency. The only thing I outsource at the moment for acquisition is the first initial DM, because we're sending 2,000 to 3,000 a day, something like that. So it needs to be outsourced. I can't do that. But as soon as a creator responds, I know, because of my knowledge, I can go into that chat and I can convert them as quickly as possible. I can convert them so fucking quickly. And I know exactly how to do it at this point. So if I was at this point right now, I would keep that role for myself as the agency owner because of how valuable it actually is. So you've got the chat and outsourced. You've got chatters working on the accounts, making money 24/7. You've got your post outsourced, and now you are still doing the outreach, right? You're doing outreach, 50 to 100 DMs a day, and you're closing the models. This is perfect. So hopefully a month or so of doing this, you've taken a few more models on board. Let's say you're up to 5 models now, doing around, let's be very conservative and say 5K a month per model on a very conservative level, okay? 5 models, 25K a month, 50% for you guys, 12.5K a month. What is the next hire? Next hire would be a chatting manager. Now, the way you can do this is you can hire one of your chatters that you've already got. If someone's performing really well, they know the structure, you can then hire them and hire one more chatter to manage the chatting team. It's still going to be one chatting team, one round of 24 hours, one guy at a time. You've now cut the chatter's point of contact, right? There's 3 chatters point of contact. Their point of contact is you, but now you've cut that down to 1 because that chat manager is now going to be dealing with those 3 people. So you've got rid of your points of contact. Once you've got up to around 10 models, I would recommend to hire a model manager who basically just makes sure the models are good, they're feeling happy, they're feeling motivated, they're giving them all the content to make, etc., etc. And with this system right here, you can take this system, which I just explained with the hires I explained, to $150,000 a month. That's how far you can take it with this very, very lean system. So yeah, when I was starting in this business, I was signing maybe 1 to 2 models a month, right? Or even every 2 months. I didn't know what to do. And now we've got to the point where if we want to, we could sign 3 to 4 high quality models a week. So that's the point that we've got to. Now we can take on models. We've got our acquisition, managing everything, passing everything off to me, who's going to close, passing everything off to our onboarding manager, who onboards everything, then off to the chatter manager, gets the chatters on, and then the model manager, who will manage the relationships of that model. So do that, and you've got a business that keeps on growing the second you step back and have a little break from it, instead of one that just falls apart the second that you do. If you're already running an agency and you're serious about scaling to 6 figures a month with a real system, instead of grinding 14-hour days for maybe 4 to 5K a month, go to the first link in the description, fill out the application, and if you're a good fit, you'll jump on a call with me and my team, and we'll assess how to get you to that 6 figures a month. Take care.